Archangel Michael is standing between you and a financial collapse, but he can't hold back the loss forever. Open this before it's too late. The heavens have marked this hour. Time is running out. There is a tremor in the unseen. The atmosphere has shifted. A subtle but undeniable vibration ripples through the spirit realm, and only those whose ears have been anointed to hear can feel it. The sound is not loud, but it is urgent. The heavens have declared it. This moment is a divine checkmate, a line in time drawn by the hand of the Almighty Himself. You have not stumbled into this message by chance. This is no accident, no coincidence, no algorithmic trick of fate. This message is for the chosen, the spiritually awake, the ones who know something is coming but can't quite name it. Archangel Michael, the commander of the armies of heaven, has been assigned to stand in the breach between you and a total financial collapse. Yes, he is there, sword drawn, holding back the floodwaters of loss, delay, and destruction. But what most cannot see is the weight pressing against him. The battle is not distant, it is at your door. You may feel it in the small disruptions, the odd tension in conversations, the anxiety that creeps in at night, the dreams that warn you but remain foggy by morning. And though many carry on unaware, you are not blind. You've seen signs. You sensed whispers. Your discernment is stirring, calling you to silence and stillness, not panic. You've been asking why things feel stuck, why provision seems delayed, why doors are not opening, and here lies your answer. The collapse has already begun in the spirit, and the Archangel is holding the line just long enough for you to hear this message and respond. But know this, he cannot hold back the tide forever. Heaven waits for your alignment. Heaven waits for your response. What comes next will either catapult you into divine provision or expose you to devastating lack. This isn't fear, it's prophecy. This is your moment of choosing. And silence, stillness, obedience, these are the keys. If you listen, you'll receive the map. If you ignore, you may never recover what was meant to be yours. This is the hour of divine instruction. Breakthrough or breakdown, what happens next is decided here. Type "I am chosen" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 666 is now surrounding you. Before this weekend's before the 72 hours expire, hear the cry of heaven and respond. Let the heavens bear witness. Let the winds carry the echo. Let every force, divine and dark, tremble at the name that now steps forward. Archangel Michael, warrior of light, guardian of God's chosen, protector of provision, and breaker of demonic interference. He hath been dispatched, and he is not standing still. He is standing between you and the collapse that has already begun to unfold in secret places. This is not a metaphor. This is not a symbol. This is a spiritual fact. The line between you and ruin is thinner than it appears. For in the spirit realm, the dam is cracked. The pressure is mounting. Principalities have gathered. Spirits of poverty, sabotage, debt, and delay have encircled what belongs to you, and they are seeking to breach the barrier. They do not sleep. They do not wait. They do not negotiate. They press forward with every passing hour, seeking to rob what has already been set aside for you by divine decree. But one stands in the way. Archangel Michael has not moved from his post. He was assigned to you before you were born. He was stationed at the gates of your purpose. And now, at this hour of divine urgency, he has drawn his flaming sword once again, not to fight your enemies with noise, but to restrain the collapse that hell is trying to release. Hear me clearly. This warning is not for the curious. It is not for the skeptics, the casual, or the prideful. This is for the awakened. This is for the spiritually sensitive, for the one whose heart hath been stirred at night, whose eyes have begun to twitch at financial tension, whose spirit has whispered, something is off. You are not imagining it. You are not broken. You are being summoned. The time markers have been issued in the spirit before the week ends, within 72 hours, before the next financial move is made. Why? Because the barrier will not hold forever. Heaven is giving you time to reposition your heart, your mind, and your decisions. You are not being punished. You are being protected. But protection without participation is wasted. You must respond. You not confuse delay with safety. Just because the collapse hasn't shown up in your bank account doesn't mean it's not surrounding your gates. Just because you're not in full ruin yet doesn't mean ruin isn't near. Archangel Michael is holding back what you can't see. But the divine instruction is this: you must prepare. You must align. You must act. Let this word pierce through your distractions, slice through your doubts, and settle deep into your discernment. You are not being warned without cause. The hand of heaven only releases messages like this when time is running out. There's a prophetic countdown, and you've been given a window to respond. What you do now determines what happens next. You who has faith, let who, and he who has breath, let him call upon the name of the Lord while he may still be found. Type "I am anointed" in the comments if this message speaks to you. Blessing code 1122 is now activated. There are whispers around your name, financial ones, but they only see fragments. The truth is deeper, heavier, divine. You felt it, haven't you? The tension in the air, the unexplained slowdowns, the sudden hesitation in people's voices when money is mentioned, the unexpected delays that seem to strike right when provision was supposed to flow. It's as if something invisible has reached its hand into your financial life and started rearranging things without your permission. You're not imagining it. This is the silent storm before the collapse. This is the undercurrent few recognize until it's too late. Money is acting strange around you. Promised payments are being postponed. Opportunities that once looked solid now feel shaky. Your name has come up in conversations you weren't invited to, but you can feel it in your spirit. They are watching. They are wondering. They are assuming. They see fragments, missed calls, declined transactions, moments where your strength appeared to waver. But they don't know what's really going on behind the veil. They don't know that there's a warfare in the heavenlies over your provision. They don't know that Archangel Michael has had to intervene to hold back the collapse. The strange disruptions are not coincidence. The bad timing that keeps haunting your finances isn't random. These are patterns, carefully planted snares. Hell hath been manipulating systems, distorting clarity, and increasing confusion, not just around you, but within you. And you've started asking questions like, why now? Why me? Why is everything resisting breakthrough? These questions aren't born out of defeat. They are evidence that your discernment is active. Your spirit knows something is trying to breach your atmosphere, something fierce, something invisible, something that only the anointed can recognize in time. There is also a deeper question forming within you, a cry you've not dared to say aloud. Lord, am I cursed? Have I done something wrong? Why do others seem to be rising while I am being pressed down? But hear this clearly. This is not punishment. This is positioning. This destruction is a necessary dismantling of things built on weak foundations. Heaven is purging the distractions. God is drawing your focus. He is using every financial tightness, every delay, every loss to summon your obedience, your precision, your full surrender. You've noticed the discomfort. Now you must respond with discernment. This is not the time to complain. This is not the time to make reckless financial decisions out of desperation. This is the time to draw in, to silence the noise, and to prepare for what heaven is trying to release through the pressure. The emotional tension you're feeling is real, and it is sacred. That lump in your chest when you check your bank balance. The sinking feeling when bills are due and answers feel absent. All of it is part of the birthing. Something is being born through the pain of this disruption, and the enemy wants you to abort it through discouragement, distraction, or disobedience. But not you. Not this time. You were chosen to hear this message. You were appointed to receive this revelation. You've been stirred to recognize that what's happening to you is not ordinary. It's prophetic. And the discomfort is divine. Do not ignore the disruption. Lean into it. Decode it. Submit to it. Repair through it. Because what's been blocked is not just your money. It's your mission. And heaven will not release resources where there is no readiness. Type "I will not break" in the comments if you feel this in your spirit. Blessing code 1717 is guarding your finances now. If this message has pierced your heart and brought clarity to what you've been sensing, you are not alone. God is using this prophetic word to awaken those who have been under silent financial warfare. Every seed you sow helps us reach another soul who's about to give up. This is not about helping a channel. This is about fueling a mission. Just as rivers carry living water, your giving becomes the current that carries breakthrough to others. As it is written, "Give, and it shall be given unto you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over." That's not a metaphor, that is heaven's economic law. If you've ever said, "I wish more people could hear messages like this," then this is your moment to activate that desire. Your support allows us to reach deeper, wider, faster, with urgency. You can click Super Thanks, join as a member, or sow directly through PayPal, link in the description below. Let your gift speak louder than your fear. Let your obedience provoke your harvest. Now is the time. Sow with faith. Sow with purpose. Sow as a warrior. Do it now. Activate the blessing. Heaven sees. Heaven responds. This is not just a money problem. This is war in the heavenlies. And your provision is the battlefield. What you are experiencing is not merely financial pressure. It is prophetic pressure. This is not a minor setback or some unfortunate timing. This is divine warfare, and your finances are the target because your assignment is dangerous to darkness. Heaven is not silent. Hell is not still. And somewhere in between, Archangel Michael stands, sword blazing, holding off a collapse designed to dismantle everything connected to your calling. You've been asking why the attacks are so relentless. Why, when you tithe, when you pray, when you give, the resistance seems to increase instead of decrease. But let this truth thunder in your spirit. You are being opposed not because you're weak, but because you're chosen. Hell does not waste its fire on the asleep. It wages war against the awakened. And you have been marked. Your financial warfare is not about dollars. It's about dominion. It's about authority. It's about whether or not you will fulfill the purpose God breathed into you before the foundations of the world. And to silence your purpose, the enemy knows he must suffocate your provision. If he can make you question God's faithfulness in your bank account, he can shake your confidence in God's assignment for your life. But Archangel Michael is not letting that collapse touch you yet. He's not stationed by your side because you're failing. He's there because you're called. Michael only appears where the battle threatens the divine order. And beloved, your life has been scheduled by heaven to bring divine disruption to regions of darkness. There is too much anointing on your hands, too much oil on your voice, too much fire in your destiny, and hell has taken notice. That's why the pressure has increased. That's why every time you try to rise financially, it feels like invisible resistance pushes you back down. But this pressure is not punishment. It's proof. Proof that what's in you is worth fighting over. Proof that what's around you is shifting. Proof that what's coming for you is too heavy to be handled casually. You are not just someone trying to pay bills. You are someone called to fund kingdom movements, ministries, solutions, legacies. That's why this season has felt like sabotage. Because the enemy sees your future streams and is trying to dam them now. He's hoping you'll settle. He's hoping you'll complain. He's hoping you'll disconnect from faith and connect to fear. But I declare, you will not break. You will not retreat. You will not collapse. You've come too far, fought through too much, and survived what should have buried you. And now heaven watches, not just what you say, but how you posture yourself. Your response is under surveillance. Will you shrink back, or will you stand in faith while Michael stands with you? Let this penetrate your soul. How you handle this conflict determines the next level of access. Vir fortis. Faith unlocks. Confusion delays. Obedience accelerates. There is a divine transaction waiting to happen, but it requires your alignment. And you don't need to fight like the world fights. You don't need to panic like those without covenant. You have angels assigned. You have heaven backing you. You have the word of the Lord on your side. But you must stand in the authority that's already been placed upon you. This is more than a battle for money. It's a battle for momentum. And the moment you decide to fight with faith, the moment you choose obedience over anxiety, the tide begins to shift. The pressure becomes fuel. The warfare becomes witness. The collapse is converted into calling. So take your stand. Raise your hand. Lock eyes with heaven. And know this: the God who assigned Michael to your gate will not let you fall without a purpose. You are surrounded. You are protected. But you must walk like you know it. Type "I am armored in faith" in the comments if you refuse to collapse. Lesson code 4411 has now been released over your next financial move. Within 14 days, something will break, exposure or collapse. What happens depends on your spiritual positioning right now. There is a countdown in the heavens. a divine timer that has already begun ticking. And while the earth sleeps and systems pretend to operate as usual, the Spirit of the Lord is sending out warnings, not to frighten, but to prepare. This is not speculation. This is not theory. This is prophetic intelligence, and the message is clear. Within 14 days, a shift is coming. You may feel it already. The tightness in your chest when you look at your accounts. The unpredictable movement in your income. The stalling in projects that were once progressing. The sudden hesitations in people who once supported you. All of these are signals. All of these are early warnings. The Spirit is revealing that someone or something is plotting against your resources, and what hath been discussed in darkness is about to surface in the light. But here's the part most will miss. Not everything will be revealed at once. Heaven is only allowing you to see fragments, glimpses, edges of what's really being maneuvered in secret. You will feel the pressure before you get the full picture. You will feel the warfare in your finances before you understand its cause. And this is not to frustrate you. It is to prepare you. This is the place where many panic. This is the threshold where people begin to sabotage themselves by speaking recklessly, making hasty financial decisions, moving out of fear instead of strategy. But you are not most people. You have been warned because you are chosen. You are not being left in the dark. You are being led through the fog. Archangel Michael is not stationed at your gates for decoration. He is there because the forces pressing against your provision are serious, and the hour of exposure or collapse draws near. Listen carefully. This pressure you feel is not imagined. It's not overreaction. It's already started. The cracks are forming. Conversations about your future are being had in rooms you've never walked into. Contracts are being questioned. Commitments are being reconsidered. And spirits of sabotage have been whispering, if we shake their finances, we shake their faith. But here's the divine reversal. Your faith is about to shake their plans. The heavens are watching how you respond in this window of time. Will you pull back? Will you waver? Or will you plant your feet, silence the noise, and discern your next move with precision? Because this 14-day window is not only a warning, it's an opportunity. Heaven is watching who can be trusted. Heaven is watching who can walk in wisdom under pressure. This is not about proving yourself to God. This is about activating what's already been placed inside of you. You have spiritual tools, divine authority, prophetic instincts, but they must be engaged. This is not the season for spiritual laziness. This is a season of urgency. Understand this. Archangel Michael can hold the gate, but he cannot make the decisions for you. The divine realm protects, but your choices must still align. You must guard your words. You must shut your ears to gossip. You must resist the temptation to fix spiritual battles with earthly means. You must move with reverent precision. Because if you do not prepare in this season, if you allow distraction or fear to govern your decisions, what comes next will feel like a collapse. But if you obey, if you respond, if you prepare, if you listen, this pressure will reveal your enemies, destroy their traps, and catapult you into provision that was withheld for such a time as this. You have 14 days. Not to fear, not to panic, but to position yourself in divine alignment so that when the shift happens, you rise instead of fall. Type "I will not miss my window" in the comments if you understand the urgency. Blessing code 1414 has been placed over the next 2 weeks of your life. This is not the time to speak loosely. Heaven is listening. Hell is too. And silence is now your strongest shield. There is a realm beyond sound, where words carry weight and timing governs triumph. In this hour, heaven is not just watching your actions, it is measuring your words. For the battle you are in is not only financial, it is foundational. And the enemy is no longer waiting for you to fail, he's waiting for you to speak. One wrong utterance, one hasty complaint, one frustrated declaration, and it becomes a foothold. A foothold becomes an opening. An opening becomes an invitation. But the Lord is issuing clear guidance through this prophetic moment. Silence is your sword. Stillness is your shelter. Obedience is your weapon. Archangel Michael has not been stationed between you and collapse for nothing. He has been empowered to restrain the assault, to block the breach, to hold back that which would have destroyed your household. But the cooperation of your mouth is now essential. Do not let fear cause you to leak secrets. Do not let anxiety push you into conversations that feel like release, but are really traps. This is the season of holy quiet. Yes, the warfare is heavy. Yes, the pressure is maddening. But the instruction is simple: withdraw. Retreat from noise. Pull back from the crowd. Find the secret place and listen. Because there are blueprints being whispered, maps being drawn in the spirit. But they are not being shouted. They are being released to those who choose stillness over panic, reverence over ranting, intercession over impulsiveness. Even Jesus, when faced with betrayal and pressure, opened not his mouth. That wasn't weakness. It was divine wisdom. There is power in restraint. There is victory in the unseen silence. And right now, heaven's help is activated when your mouth becomes disciplined. Speak only what aligns with heaven. Declare only what God has said. Every careless word becomes a crack in the wall of protection. You are not powerless. You are protected. But protection requires posture. You must walk in prophetic discernment now. If it doesn't sound like God, don't say it. If it doesn't smell like peace, don't engage it. If it doesn't carry spiritual weight, don't post it. You are being preserved for a divine reversal, and silence is your security protocol. You don't need to prove your side. You don't need to explain your hardship. You don't need to vent to people who are secretly rooting for your collapse. You need only to pray. You need only to fast. You need only to seek God in secret. And in that place, the angelic realm responds. In that place, Archangel Michael strengthens your spirit. In that place, you receive instructions that will open provision and close the mouths of lions. Let it be known, no weapon formed against your provision shall prosper. But you must not help those weapons form through careless words. You must not contribute to your own attack by failing to listen. The Holy Spirit will guide you, but He does not shout over chaos. You must get quiet enough to hear. Withdraw from gossip. Pull back from unwise counsel. Ignore the itch to react. Those who endure this moment in silence will emerge with double honor. Those who speak prematurely will delay their breakthrough. This is divine strategy. This is angelic protection. And this is your spiritual advantage. Archangel Michael is not just fighting for your finances. He is shielding your legacy. and your cooperation through silence gives him permission to strike down what your words might otherwise empower. Choose to guard your mouth. Choose to retreat into the shelter of stillness. For it is written, "In returning and rest you shall be saved. In quietness and trust shall be your strength." Type "I choose stillness" in the comments if this word speaks to you. Blessing code 8888 is surrounding your atmosphere now. You are not who they thought you were. What looked like breakdown is actually your divine buildup. And your strength, your true strength, is unfolding. Let this be the line where you rise. Let this be the moment where the identity of heaven eclipses the opinions of men. Because the warfare wasn't sent to destroy you, it was allowed to reveal you. The pressure was permitted not to crush you, but to introduce you to the you that hell has always feared. For too long, you've walked beneath the weight of what was said about you, whispered about you, doubted about you. But that season ends here. Because now, your wings are pushing through the ashes. And now, your power is no longer a theory. It's becoming undeniable. They saw the tears, but they didn't see the strength. They saw the delay, but they didn't know it was divine training. They saw the lack, but they never understood that you were being refined in the fire so you could carry a weight of glory they could never imagine. This is not your collapse. This is your calibration. Heaven has used the very pressure sent to dismantle you as the fuel to reforge you. You've been stretched but not sapped, bruised but not broken, confused but never canceled. And now the Lord says, "I have tested you in the fire, and I have found gold." Yes, you. The one who cried silently. The one who gave when it hurt. The one who stayed faithful while being mocked. You are not a victim. You are a vessel. And the pressure that once made you question your calling is now becoming the very evidence of it. Do not be deceived by appearances. What looked like failure was strategic positioning. Heaven allowed some doors to close so that your character could be built to match your calling. Because divine elevation requires divine insulation. You were hidden on purpose, but now the seal is breaking, and the world is about to see what God already knows. You are rising, not through manipulation, not through noise, but through undeniable favor and angelic backing. Archangel Michael did not protect you so you could remain a beggar in the spirit. He defended your destiny because you are a carrier of breakthrough. You are not here to survive. You are here to dominate, to rule, to steward heavenly resources for kingdom impact. And this trial has activated the very authority you've been praying to find. But it was never missing. It was simply buried beneath the residue of fear, doubt, and former failure. Now, those old garments are burning off. And now, the ashes are clearing. And now, the old self is giving way to the anointed one you were always meant to be. And no, this version of you will not bow to scarcity. This version of you does not apologize for being blessed. This version of you speaks boldly, walks wisely, and moves when heaven says move. You are no longer led by survival. You are being guided by dominion. Let this truth thunder in your spirit. What was sent to break you only birthed a version of you that cannot be broken. And now, with every step you take, provision will follow. With every act of obedience, protection will intensify. With every whisper of faith, the Spirit will respond. Because you are no longer begging for breakthrough. You become the breakthrough. So shake off the dust. Wipe the tears. and stare into the future that is being carved out for you by angelic hands and divine timing. You are not waiting for the collapse to destroy you. You are rising through it with power that comes not from man, but from the throne of God Himself. Type "I am rising in power" in the comments if this word ignited your spirit. Blessing code 4444 is now governing your empowerment season. And trial over your finances is not random. It is prophetic. It is proof that your next level has already been initiated in the Spirit. Hear me now, beloved. What you are walking through is not a punishment. It is not a delay. It is not even just a test. It is a transition. The kind of shift that only happens when heaven is preparing to release something so weighty, so world-altering, that your old environment couldn't sustain it. This financial warfare has been loud, but that's only because your next level has already been announced in the spirit realm. You're not waiting on God. God is waiting on you to realize what's already unlocked. Yes, it looks like you've been losing. Yes, the numbers haven't added up. Yes, what you thought was secure started crumbling right beneath your feet. But what looks like collapse to the carnal eye is actually divine clearing. Heaven is making room for the weight of glory that's about to rest on your life. You are not being buried, you are being built. And what's coming next requires more capacity than you've ever carried before. This season was not about subtraction. It was about substitution. The counterfeit had to fall away so the covenant could arrive. The limited resources had to dry up so heaven's unlimited supply could break through. You were looking for man to release you. But heaven has already spoken your name. The courts of God have already reviewed your record. And the verdict has been declared. This collapse will not destroy you. It will birth your new season. Let me say it plainly. This is your unlocking. This is your moment. What you've lost in this past season wasn't taken to punish you. It was permitted to prepare you. Because what's coming must find you ready. Ready in obedience. Ready in faith. Ready in spiritual maturity. And now, because you have endured, because you didn't curse God when things dried up, because you kept pressing forward when others turned away, heaven is about to reward you openly. You are on the verge of seeing the divine reversal that was prophesied in secret places. You are about to walk through doors that were once sealed shut, because the angels assigned to you have received new instructions. Michael is no longer just defending your finances. He is now moving to release what was delayed. And when it comes, it will come swiftly. When it arrives, it will be undeniable. When it manifests, it will shut every mouth that doubted you and silence every lie whispered about you. This is no longer about survival. This is about supernatural alignment. What the enemy thought would be your end is now being used as your evidence. You are proof that God still raises the broken, still blesses the misjudged, still uses the underestimated. And you are about to be placed in spaces where only your obedience could qualify you. Your name is being spoken in heavenly courts. Your case has been reviewed, and the angels are standing by with divine release. Let your spirit receive this. The collapse was never meant to kill you. It was sent to expose who you really are, anointed, appointed, covered, and carried by heaven's economy. You are stepping out of scarcity and into surplus. You are moving from frustration into fulfillment. And you will not exit the season empty-handed. This is not the end of your financial story. This is the prophetic beginning of your divine upgrade. Type "I receive my release" in the comments if this prophetic word is yours. Blessing code 1919 is opening divine storehouses in your direction. If this word resonated with the deep places of your spirit, it's because heaven marked this moment for your awakening. What you just heard isn't just for you. It's for others who are still trapped in confusion and fear. Your giving helps unlock freedom for them. When you sow into this message, you aren't funding a platform. You're funding a movement of prophetic awakening, a supernatural wave of truth that pulls people out of spiritual collapse and into destiny. Like oil flowing from the altar, your generosity becomes a river that carries the voice of God further. As it is written, "He who refreshes others will himself be refreshed." That word is alive, and it's speaking to you now. If you've ever said, "This kind of prophetic insight needs to reach more people," then take action. Your obedience opens the floodgates. You can support this mission through Super Thanks, by joining our membership, or through PayPal. The link is in the video description below. Don't wait. Give with boldness. Give as an act of faith. Give as a divine warrior. Heaven remembers the giver, and the reward will be generational. Heaven waits for your yes. The time for hesitation is over. Destiny does not delay, it demands. This is your crossing point. This is the place in the Spirit where God no longer speaks in hints, He speaks in commands. Rise. Activate. Line. The heavens have already opened the scroll. The angels have already taken their positions. The oil has already been prepared. Now, it is your voice that must echo back the answer, "Yes, Lord, I'm ready." Because whether you realize it or not, this battle was never just about your finances. It was about your faith in motion. For too long, fear held the pen. For too long, anxiety wrote the chapters. For too long, you have allowed external resistance to slow your internal obedience. But the war in the heavens is shifting. The financial collapse that has been looming is no longer the threat. It is the catalyst. And the Spirit of the Lord is saying, "What the enemy meant for destruction, I am now using as a launch into your destiny." You must now move from insight to instruction, from revelation to response. Because alignment requires action. Heaven is not asking you to be perfect. It's asking you to be obedient. You are not being measured by what you have in the bank. You are being measured by what you carry in your spirit. The mantle that rests on you requires movement. Your name has been marked in the Spirit, but that mark must be matched with motion. Speak to your finances, not with fear, but with faith. Speak life over your bank account, over your debts, over your dreams. Call forth what heaven has already declared. Call it as if it's already done. Because in the Spirit, it is. You are not poor. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are being positioned for something that only obedience can unlock. And heaven is listening for your response, not just in words but in steps. Faith without works is dead. And this moment is where your faith must move. If God says, "Start the business," do it. If He says, "Sow the seed," release it. If He says, "Disconnect from that place of limitation," walk away. Because heaven is waiting for your yes to trigger a series of divine responses. There are miracles scheduled to manifest, but they await your movement. This is not a time to wait for confirmation when God has already spoken. This is the time to act boldly, speak prophetically, and live obediently. Let your fear burn in the fire of your calling. Let every doubt collapse under the weight of your surrender. Because once you move in obedience, the angels are released. The financial blockage begins to break. The favor that's been circling your name begins to descend. The deals that have been held up begin to flow. This is the moment your yes begins to magnetize provision. Your agreement with heaven activates heaven's reward. So declare now, I am chosen. I am ready. I will not shrink back. Speak it until your spirit believes it. Move as though it's already done. Because God is not asking you to figure out the next 10 steps. He's only asking for the first one. And the moment you take it, the ground will shift, the gates will open, and the collapse will reverse. This is your commissioning. This is your launch. This is your moment of divine convergence. No more waiting. No more delay. No more excuses. Heaven has spoken. Now you must move. Type ISAYYES to Destiny in the comments if you feel heaven calling you into action. Blessing code 3131 is releasing divine strategies and supernatural steps before you now. What you cannot see is already shifting. What you thought was gone is being recovered. And the exchange has begun. Silently, supernaturally, surely. There is a mystery unfolding over your life right now. A transaction. A transfer. A spiritual exchange that defies earthly logic. You may not hear it in your ears. You may not see it with your eyes, but your spirit senses it. You've been restless. You've been waking up at strange hours. You've been feeling something you can't explain, like a tension, a tightening, a quiet pull. And that's because in the courts of heaven, your name is on the table. Even while you sleep, heaven is working. Divine agents, angels, messengers, and watchers have been dispatched. Negotiations have already begun. Documents are being rewritten in the spirit. Assignments are being reissued. The enemy is being silenced in real time. Where there were curses, now there is correction. Where there was robbery, now there is reversal. And it's all happening quietly. Behind the veil. In realms your natural senses cannot touch, but your obedience has already activated. You need to understand something. You haven't lost what matters most. The enemy wanted you to believe it was too late, that the opportunity had expired, that the finances had dried up, that what was stolen would never be returned. But that with a lie, a deception, a manipulation meant to paralyze your faith. In truth, heaven never closed your case. In truth, your suffering became evidence. Your endurance became currency. Your faith became legal ground for restoration. And now, the exchange is happening. Beauty for ashes. Of for mourning. Double for disgrace. The Spirit of the Lord is enacting Isaiah 61 over your life. And it's not loud. It's not flashy. It's not public, yet. But it's powerful. It's eternal. It's irreversible. Because what God restores, no man can block. But there's more. There are financial exchanges happening on your behalf. Deals being arranged, debts being erased, unexpected channels being opened. Not because you begged for it, but because you remained faithful. Not because you shouted the loudest, but because you stood your ground when collapse was all around you. Your consistency became a legal argument in the spirit. Your stillness became a signal to the angelic realm. This one is ready. So listen to your spirit. Feel the confirmation rising. Something is shifting, not just externally but eternally. This is not emotional hype. This is spiritual reality. And even if your natural circumstances haven't caught up yet, don't be deceived by delay. What is coming to you is already being rerouted. And with never denying, just detain. But now, the dam is breaking. The Spirit has authorized release, and the angels have begun to move. There is a silent restoration underway. What was withheld is being released. What was stolen is being returned. What was lost is being found in greater measure. You will soon walk into places that recognize you before you even speak. Opportunities will align without explanation. Provision will appear where none was promised. And people will ask, "How did this happen for you?" And you will know, it was the silent exchange, the divine transaction, the heavenly intervention no one saw coming. So stay quiet but stay expectant. Stay hidden but stay faithful. Heaven doesn't shout when it moves, it whispers. And right now, that whisper is roaring over your name. Type "I am receiving the exchange" in the comments if you feel this in your spirit. Blessing code 5050 is aligning your unseen breakthroughs now. The scales are shifting. What was unjust will not go unbalanced. And the hand of divine justice is already moving to restore, reverse, and repay. You have waited. You have wept. You have watched as others advanced, while your path seemed tangled in delay, disruption, and denial. But heaven has been watching. And now, the gavel has struck in the courts of the Most High. The verdict is in. Spiritual justice is being executed on your behalf. This is not the justice of man. This is not the limited retribution that comes from systems and institutions. This is divine justice, and when heaven rules in your favor, nothing in hell can override the outcome. God has seen every plot, every conversation behind your back, every manipulative hand that tried to cut off your flow, every assignment of poverty that tried to disguise itself as hard times, every voice that laughed while you struggled, every agreement that was broken, every plan to destabilize your future. God has seen it all. And he did not forget. He was storing every injustice in the bowls of remembrance. He was measuring the tears you cried when no one could understand the pressure you carried. He was recording the nights you chose to worship instead of worry. And now, the bowls are tipping. Now, the scales are being balanced. Those who schemed against your finances, your reputation, your destiny, they are about to see the hand of God answer on your behalf. This is not vengeance. This is divine reversal. What was set in motion to derail your life is about to push you into acceleration. What was meant to close doors will now be used as the very key to open new ones. The enemy overplayed his hand, and heaven is turning the trap into a triumph. But listen closely. This is not just about enemies being exposed. This is about you being elevated. Divine favor is crowning your season. And this favor is not cheap. It is weighty. It is pure. It is unstoppable. Because it comes not from man, but from the throne of the righteous judge. This is the kind of favor that reverses court decision to erases debts and releases resources you never applied for. This is the kind of reversal that makes people say, "How did that happen for you so fast?" and you will respond with fire in your voice, because God ruled in my favor. You see, this collapse that Michael has been holding back wasn't just about money. It was about justice. The enemy wanted to rob you of peace, strip you of trust, and leave you spiritually bankrupt. But your faith stood firm. And now that faith is about to speak louder than the lies that tried to define you. This is the season where setbacks become springboards. The financial warfare that was meant to silence you will now sponsor your next assignment. Every loss will be compensated. Every delay will be redeemed. And those who tried to bury you will witness the resurrection of your influence, your income, and your impact. And here's the prophecy. You will not only recover what was lost, you will recover more than what was taken. This is what happens when God gets involved. This is what happens when the Archangel stands between you and the breaking point. He doesn't just hold back collapse. He clears the way for compensation. To mark this moment, this is your appointed time of reversal. Don't apologize for what God is about to do. Don't dim your light to make others comfortable. You've suffered in silence. Now it's time to rise in visibility. Because when heaven rules in your favor, the world must take notice. Type "The justice of heaven is mine" in the comments if you receive this word. Blessing code 7777 is executing reversal orders in your name. The shield still stands. The collapse has been delayed. But now it's your move. Step forward in readiness, for heaven has already responded. The sword is still drawn. The angel is still standing. Archangel Michael remains between you and the edge of collapse, not because you are weak, but because you are destined. This entire season has not been about destruction. It has been about decision. The heavens have issued a call, and now your heart must respond. Not later. Not someday. Now. You've heard the warnings. You've felt the pressure. You've walked through the strange delays, the financial tensions, the emotional warfare. But you're still here. Still standing. Still pressing. And that is not by accident. It is by divine design. The collapse that was meant to bury you could not break through because heaven stood in the gap. Michael blocked the breach. The Spirit whispered instruction. The oil of God covered what man tried to sabotage. And now, this moment is your turning point. Let it be declared over your life. You are sealed. You are seen. You are shielded. You are not like the rest. You are not walking in the same timing as the world. While others panic, you prepare. While others fall, you rise. While others complain, you listen. Because you are among the remnant, the ones who hear in the Spirit what others miss in the flesh. You are one of the anointed responders. And now, your readiness determines your reward. There is no longer space for hesitation. The time of delay is over. What's coming next will not wait for your indecision. You must walk in power. Speak in authority. Move with urgency. Heaven is not just holding back loss, it's opening doors. You are not merely surviving the collapse, you are stepping into supernatural recovery. So rise, not with fear, but with faith. Not with questions, but with confidence. The Lord has gone before you. The angelic guard surrounds you. Your resources are being released to you. And no weapon, no system, No curse will be able to stop what God has already set in motion. Let this be your final affirmation today. I am covered. I am ready. I'm moving in divine alignment. The collapse has passed you over because your obedience secured the protection. But the warning is still real. Do not go back to casual. Do not go back to complacent. Stay watchful. Stay faithful. Stay postured. This message was heaven's mercy. The shield won't hold forever. But if you move now, if you stay in obedience, the next chapter will not be collapse, it will be covenant fulfillment. Type I am sealed in victory in the comments if this entire message confirmed your spirit. Blessing code 9999 is thou finalizing divine protection and overflow upon your life. Before you go, take this as your final instruction. Don't just receive the word, empower it to go further. What you felt in this message, someone else needs right now. You have the power to carry this fire to another soul. When you give, you're not just helping a voice, you're helping a mission reach hearts on the edge of collapse. Your support fuels the fire. It funds deliverance. It helps us stand where Archangel Michael cannot. In front of a camera. In front of a screen. Delivering divine instruction to those who feel forgotten. As God said in Malachi, bring the whole tithe and see if I will not open the windows of heaven. That word is alive, and it's waiting for your activation. This is your prophetic act. Support through Super Thanks. Join the membership family, or give through PayPal link in the video description. Your seed becomes a sword in the spirit. Your offering speaks. Let it speak now. Don't delay. Move in the same spirit of urgency that heaven has moved for you. The next soul is waiting. The next miracle is tied to your yes.